Yeah, there you go.
Y'all. Thank you. And I just want to say how much I appreciate Puff Daddy for doing the kinds of work that he's doing, because he doesn't have to do this. But this is part of what is important about giving back.
Yes, we applaud you, and I want to apologize for not sweating, but I do this so much. I'm so cool. I just want y'all to see everybody I'm interviewing is sweating. I'm not even touching my brow. I'm so cool, and I want to apologize. I ain't trying to make you look bad or nothing like that, but I'm just so cool. We
T-shirt. I tell you, if he was wearing one of those fancy designer clothes he's designing, he'd be sweating.
People always wonder why certain names never get called out, why some figures in the music world seem untouchable.
Never made a call to Diddy? Really? I got Diddy's number, just hit him up. Yo, Diddy, what up? Never happened.
While others fall apart overnight. For decades, the industry moved in quiet fear.
Checking me, that's a laughing matter, you know. I mean, it's ridiculous. But at the same time, Eminem, you know, I'm not a rapper. I'm quite sure you can out-rap me.
Built on whispers, favors, and unspoken rules.
In the club video shoot, and man, I just couldn't believe it. I didn't understand. Like, so we in the video, all you heard was, Suge is coming! yo, bro, Suge is coming! So I'm like, yo, I swear to God, cameras are falling, dancers are running, lights. Everybody's running, Suge is coming! So we couldn't believe it. Like, I'm from New York, I never seen no shit like that. So it's like, fight these Mexican blood killer. Niggas got the shit on their forehead, eyes. 118th. Or go back home to the crib. Might as well go all out, fight right here. We around Dr. Dre, so it's like, yo, we gotta do what we gotta do.
So what happened? He lights the cigar and then
he just lights the cigar, and it's the out shook. He light the cigar and he trying to see what you gonna do. So Eminem, 50, everybody outside, light the cigar. I was bugging because I seen, this is when I knew Eminem was real. He's like, I don't give a man. This is when I knew, I'm like, damn, Eminem is a real. These niggas 50 outside, what's up? And then Suge just walked away. The Mexican looked kind of confused, like they didn't know what was going on. But came outside. Eminem came outside 100%.
Wow. Oh, what did I miss? Okay.
And Eminem was like, yo, I don't give a man. Give a man. Because you remember, it's documented. Proof told Suge, yo, you Tupac in the middle of a party. Remember, them Detroit is a kind of
Careers ended before they even started, not because of talent, but because someone said the wrong name out loud. And for years, Diddy was that name, the one you avoided, the one you tiptoed around, the one people respected publicly but feared privately.
Woo, this is a tight one. And the winner is Eminem, the Eminem Show. Yes, sir.
But then there was Eminem. What nobody expected was that one skinny white kid from Detroit would walk into that world and never bow his head. No protection, no powerful family, no industry safety net. And yet, he never flinched. He never played friendly, he never acted impressed. And according to 50 Cent, that wasn't by accident.
His appeal motion and he wants out of jail immediately. And the media is acting like this is some bombshell new information that Diddy filed his appeal, but we knew this for months that Diddy was filing an appeal. His motion for his arguments on why he wants the appeal was just due today. So this is the motion that we are seeing him submit. And Diddy is using the same arguments that we've already heard him talk about. He is claiming that the judge acted like a 13th juror and gave him a sentence that was way higher than normal. Diddy is claiming that he believes that he should only have to sit 15 months at the most and said that the judge sentenced him higher based off of other conduct that he was acquitted of. Now, when sentencing Diddy, he said that throughout this trial, he saw clear indications that Diddy was violent towards these women, and he was also doing other things like threatening these women with freak-off tapes. And in federal court, you have a thing called guideline ranges, and the judge actually didn't even go with the probation department's guideline ranges. He actually went lower, and the probation department is just a neutral party that looks at the case as a whole and says, we think you should sentence him to this much time. And the judge still went lower than that. And the judge explained it very well on why he came to the sentence that he did for Diddy. And like I said, it was even more lenient than the probation department. The probation department wanted more time. And he also said, I want to make it clear for the record that I am not sentencing you based on your acquitted conduct, but I am sentencing you based off things that I saw with my own eyes during this trial that can't just be misconstrued. When Diddy's sentencing came out, I said that I felt like the judge was saying this stuff on the record and also sentenced him the way he did because he already knew that Diddy was going to file an appeal, because Diddy said this before his sentence was even given to him. He kept putting the judge on notice that he was going to file an appeal because he didn't even feel like he should have been found guilty of the 2 transportation charges. Prosecution still has a whole nother month until their response to Diddy's appeal motion is even due. So it's still gonna be a while before we even get through this process. This man literally dodged the bullet of life in prison, and he's still
Because while most artists learned how to survive by staying quiet, Eminem survived by refusing to be controlled, and that decision changed everything.
Court TV has just confirmed that the family of Tupac Shakur is investigating a potential link between the murder of Tupac and Sean Diddy Combs. This coming from attorney Alex Spiro, who represents Tupac's family. Now, this investigation had been previously reported by unnamed sources, but earlier today, Spiro confirmed to our Court TV team that he and a team of investigators has been hired.
Sean Combs allegedly had business dealings with Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who will go on trial next March for the murder of Tupac. This was back in 1996. Some have speculated that Diddy ordered Tupac's death. That, of course, is just a theory at this point, and we are monitoring the developments in both the Tupac trial and the federal indictment of Sean Diddy Combs. So a lot of information to come on that one.
Before Eminem became a global icon, before the Grammys, before the sold-out stadiums, he was just Marshall Mathers, a broke rapper from Detroit, bouncing between trailers and studio basements, trying to be heard in a culture that didn't welcome him. He didn't grow up with money or connections. His childhood was filled with instability, moving from place to place, getting into fights, feeling unwanted everywhere he went.
The thing to me about your involvement in this is that Diddy actually called you after an LA Times article in 2008 alleging he'd been involved in your brother's death. What did he say that day when he called you?
He was in town. He was in LA at the time. He was on the radio. He asked a local DJ that we all know, Big Boy, to reach out to me because he wanted to speak to me about something. This is a few years after Pac's, and you know, we all were familiar with all the rumors and stuff. I said, yeah, let me talk to him. So he called me, and you know, I had my guys with me, Thug Life guys, and we heard what he had to say. He basically said he ain't have nothing to do with my brother's brother. And I told him the truth is still yet to come out, so we're gonna see. Here we are 27, 28 years later. It looks like there's some doubt in that statement. So, thus, you know, along with all the other suspicions that people have, you know, it was time for it to be investigated.
In a statement at the time, Diddy declared this story is a lie, the LA Times story, Neither I nor the late Notorious had any knowledge of any attack on Tupac before, during, or after it happened. Do you think that was an honest statement?
My opinion is that I don't believe it was 100% honest statement.
Music wasn't a hobby for him, it was an escape route. In the late 90s, hip-hop wasn't just music, it was power, and power was controlled by a handful of people. Labels decided who lived and who disappeared. Radio spins were political, features were favors, and Diddy sat at the center of it all, with Bad Boy dominating charts and shaping trends. Everyone wanted in, everyone wanted approval, everyone wanted protection.
During the Biggie Smalls investigation in the early 2000s, the filing reads, the 3 LAPD and FBI agents were part of a task force to solve the shooting of rapper Notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls, legal name Christopher Wallace. The task force, through a sophisticated criminal investigation, obtained sufficient evidence that would prove Mr. Davis was the leader of the Southside Crips and his gang was responsible for over 360 kilos of and PCP. Mr. Davis provided 3 interviews to obtain immunity from prosecution. The final interview were solely questions regarding the Tupac Shakur which Mr. Davis was also provided immunity from prosecution. So during a December 2008 interview with investigators, that is when Davis allegedly started to spill the beans about his one-time friend, Sean Combs, who he refers to as Puffy. He claims Sean Puffy Combs solicited Mr. Davis to kill Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur for $1 million. Eric Zip Martin, an associate of Puffy Combs, provided Mr. Davis with a gun to exact revenge on Tupac Shakur for the beating Mr. Anderson received. Now, Davis reportedly told the investigators that even though the job had been partially completed and Shakur was killed, neither he nor Anderson ever got paid. He later revealed that he believes Combs had paid the go-between, Zip Martin, who he claims kept the money for himself. And he said much of the same thing in a 2009 interview a year later, because according to the motion to dismiss, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, as far back as 2009, was in possession of the same set of facts that the Clark County District Attorney is now alleging makes Mr. Davis responsible for the Tupac Shakur. The Clark County District Attorney's Office has offered no reason as to why it waited another 14 years to prosecute a case against Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis has been irreversibly prejudiced by this unnecessary delay in prosecution of this case, and Mr. Davis's constitutional rights have been violated in an extraordinary manner never before witnessed in the annals of the American criminal justice.
But Eminem never chased that. He didn't dream of being accepted by the elite. He just wanted to rap better than anyone else in the room. That mindset alone made him dangerous. While other artists learned how to network, Eminem sharpened his pen. While others studied the politics, he studied syllables. He didn't care who was watching. He cared who was listening. That's why even before fame touched him, he was already saying things others wouldn't dare whisper.
A lot of beefs. You got a lot of beefs. A lot of the rappers are separated. You can't have 50. Ain't nowhere near Ja Rule. You know, you can't have Jay-Z near Nas. Nobody got no beef with Eminem. Ain't no rapper popping nothing about Eminem. Ain't nobody saying nothing. I'm not even gonna say nothing bad about Eminem. Cause way too much stuff rhymes with rock, alright? But Eminem don't even like his own mama. So Lord knows what he'll say about Joe Black.
Long before the world knew his name, Eminem was already taking shots at the industry's biggest figures in raw demo tapes. No fame, no backup, just words. And in that era, words could get you hurt.
Only they can answer that question. I have my own opinion, but I wouldn't slander their name like they did mine. I wouldn't say things that I knew, you know what I mean? I believe so. I do believe so. I have proved things that I can say that will back up my claim, but this is not for the world to know about. You know what I mean? It's between me and him, and only he knows. So every time he say it didn't happen, or that's the only thing that makes this become an issue to everybody. Because you seen what I said in the Vibe article. I basically bowed out. It was gonna go ahead about my life. The next issue, that wasn't even the next issue, because them cowards waited about 4 issues before they got their story together. 4 issues later, half of New Yorkers commenting on me getting shot. And before, they was all like, we didn't see nothing. In the first issue, we did, Vibe viewers. Nobody seen shit. The fourth issue, when they came back with a reply, everybody knew what I did. They knew what I said. I was acting. Who gets shot 5 times in acts? Oh, I didn't get shot 5 times in their vision. I only got shot once because they found the bullet. The police found it, but now they the cops. Now they doing detective work. They found the bullet. Oh, you found the bullet, huh? So what is this other shit in? What was the doctors talking about? What? Can you explain these other holes in me? How'd I get gunpowder all over me? That insulted my intelligence. So yes, I did say Thug Life was there. Yes, I bowed out, all of that. But when they said that, they breathed.
What makes that boldness stand out is timing.
Let me ask you this. I get it. When you have a case that's 5 years old, it's hard to get overwhelming evidence that meets the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. When you have cases this old, no matter what Fiddy has found out and put in this documentary, do you see it at all ever possible that Diddy could be involved in a murder trial when it comes to Biggie and Tupac?
It could be possible, yes. However, like I said, they need a lot of corroboration to make that stick, because it's really alleged right now as to his involvement. It's not anything that's substantial or concrete that he was involved. It's personally from people talking about it and saying this is what happened. You need some more information to come forward.
Eminem wasn't protected yet. He wasn't rich, he wasn't signed to a powerhouse label, he was vulnerable, and still he refused to show fear. That's something 50 Cent has pointed out repeatedly. According to 50 Cent, Eminem never entered hip-hop with the mentality of needing approval. He entered with the mindset of competition.
We have an update now on Dwayne "Keefy D" Davis. He's charged in the murder of Tupac Shakur. Davis was in court again this morning after a fight with another inmate. Fox 5's Mike Allen walks us through what happened.
Dwayne Davis is answering for a jailhouse brawl. Here's what court records show, along with images from surveillance video released by Las Vegas Justice Court. On December 23rd, Davis was being escorted back into his cell when another inmate, Rockland Hamilton, who's also facing a charge, is standing to the right by a sink in this room. Hamilton walked over to Davis and squared up, looking ready to fight. They started throwing punches and grappling, and the officer escorting Davis called for backup, gave verbal commands too for the inmates to stop fighting, and then hit them with pepper spray. Before backup officers arrived, the two inmates kept grappling and throwing punches and were eventually separated after backup officers got into the room. Both Davis and Hamilton face battery by prisoner charges. Mike Allen, Fox 5 News, local Las.
Then came Dra Dre. When Dre signed Eminem, it wasn't just a cosign, it was a shield. But even then, Eminem didn't suddenly start playing politics.
This is what Diddy doing, y'all. All right, the diddler has sent 50 Cent some damn flowers while he locked up, bro. All right, we all know Diddy is mad about this whole docu-series that 50 put out on Netflix and is #1 going crazy, so you know he mad. Now, according to 50, all right, these are some warning flowers. Y'all know how Diddy used to get down. You know, he used to send people shit in the mail. He'll send a nigga to blow up a car. Y'all know how he get down. So if he mad, clearly he's mad about this documentary. Bro sent 50 some flowers at his hotel while he was in Miami, bro. Now, I ain't gonna show the address on these flowers, but 50 posted the whole address. Now, in the caption, 50 said, "What kind of gay is this? Diddy send me flowers at Club 11, LOL. LOL, why all the foreplay? Get busy, you know I'm stupid." Then he commented again and said, "A warning, I'm 90s grimy. You don't warn me, LOL." So y'all know why Diddy sent this. He ain't send it because he happy or proud of 50 for dropping this goddamn docuseries on his demon.
Dre gave him a platform, not a leash, and Eminem used that platform to speak freely, even when it made people uncomfortable.
Isn't fazed by the online hate after some social media users called the rapper, quote, petty for producing the Netflix documentary Sean Combs' The Reckoning. 50 Cent tells the Go Derby in an interview published December 9th that he really doesn't sweat the criticism, saying, "I accept that, I'll take that, I'll wear that. I have antics that I have become comfortable with on social media." And while some believe the docuseries is a, quote, hit piece on Combs, the rapper maintains that was never the intent, explaining they did characterize it as a hit piece in the very beginning. It's because they didn't get a chance to watch it when they were saying that. And then after they see it, you see everyone's changed their mind and it's become the #1 doc. And as for Combs' thought on the Netflix series, the mogul spoke out against his rival shortly before the project hit the platform, with his attorney telling Variety on December 1st, Netflix's so-called documentary is a shameful hit piece. Netflix relied on stolen footage that was never authorized for release. As Netflix and CEO Ted Sarandos know, Mr. Combs has been amassing footage since he was 19 to tell his own story in his own way. It is fundamentally unfair and illegal for Netflix to misappropriate.
He didn't change his tone. He didn't clean up his message. He didn't soften his edge. Meanwhile, the industry was still operating under fear. Suge Knight ruled through intimidation. Diddy ruled through influence. Artists learned quickly that silence kept you safe, but Eminem didn't come from that culture. He didn't grow up surrounded by music executives. He grew up fighting bullies and being underestimated. Fear wasn't new to him. It was something he'd already survived. And here's the twist nobody talks about enough. Eminem didn't see Diddy as powerful. He saw him as replaceable. In Eminem's mind, talent mattered more than titles, and that belief alone separated him from everyone else. 50 Cent has explained that when you don't believe someone controls your future, they lose power over you. Eminem didn't think Diddy could make or break him. He believed his skill would speak louder than politics. That confidence wasn't loud, it wasn't flashy, it was quiet and unshakable. As Eminem's fame grew, so did the tension. He never directly chased beef, but his lyrics told stories people recognized. He referenced violence, he hinted at guilt, he spoke on tragedies the industry wanted buried, and everyone knew who he was talking about. The difference was Eminem didn't accuse, he implied, and implication can be more dangerous than direct blame. According to 50 Cent, this is what truly separated Eminem from the rest. He didn't scream, he didn't posture, he didn't threaten. He just kept rapping and letting listeners connect the dots. That approach made it harder to silence him. You can't cancel a question. You can't erase curiosity. Behind the scenes, the industry noticed. People whispered, executives paid attention, and some felt exposed because Eminem wasn't just successful, he was untouchable in a different way. His fan base didn't care about industry alliances, they cared about honesty, and that terrified the gatekeepers. But here's where 50 Cent enters the story in a deeper way. 50 knows exactly how that fear operates because he lived through it. He watched artists get blackballed. He watched people switch sides to survive. And when he linked up with Eminem, he recognized something rare, someone who truly didn't care. Not about threats, not about warnings, not about backroom conversations. 50 has said that Eminem never acted impressed by Diddy's status. He never lowered his voice. He never changed his behavior. He treated him like any other name. And in an industry built on ego, that's a form of disrespect more powerful than insults. As allegations, lawsuits, and documentaries began surfacing years later, Eminem's old lyrics suddenly felt prophetic. Lines that once sounded like shock value started sounding like warnings, and the silence from many artists became louder than any diss track. What nobody expected was how the tables would turn. The same industry that once protected Diddy started distancing itself. The same voices that stayed quiet began speaking carefully, and the same figures who once seemed untouchable found themselves exposed under a brighter spotlight. Through it all, Eminem never changed his stance. He didn't celebrate, he didn't gloat, he didn't rewrite history. He simply stayed consistent. That consistency is what 50 Cent respects most, because fear makes people inconsistent. Power tests character. The emotional impact of this goes beyond music. It affects families, it affects legacies, it affects how history remembers people. For Eminem, standing his ground meant protecting his identity. For others, staying silent meant protecting careers, and those choices come with different costs. Diddy's controversies didn't just shake the industry, they reopened old wounds. Families connected to past tragedies felt pain resurface. Fans questioned everything they once believed, and artists who benefited from silence were forced to confront their own complicity. Meanwhile, Eminem stood apart, not because he was louder, but because he was never part of the system that required silence. His career wasn't built on favors, it was built on fearlessness and craft. And according to 50 Cent, that's why Eminem was never scared. Because fear only works when you believe someone controls your future. Eminem believed he controlled his own. As the dust continues to settle, the story feels less like a rivalry and more like a lesson. Talent without fear changes rooms. Honesty without protection disrupts systems. And silence, no matter how long it lasts, eventually cracks. In the end, this isn't just about Eminem or Diddy or 50 Cent. It's about power, truth, and the price of speaking up. It's about what happens when one person refuses to play along. And maybe that's why this story still matters, because it reminds us that real strength doesn't come from influence or intimidation. It comes from knowing who you are and refusing to be moved. And as long as people keep whispering the truth, there will always be someone brave enough to say it out loud. In the end, this story isn't just about fame, power, or old industry rivalries. It's about what happens when fear no longer works. For years, people believed silence was the price of survival, that staying quiet meant staying safe. But Eminem proved something different. He showed that when you don't let anyone control your voice, they lose control over you completely. 50 didn't expose this to start drama or chase attention. He exposed it because the truth matters, because too many careers were shaped by intimidation and too many people paid the price for speaking up, while others stayed protected. Eminem stood outside that system from the very beginning. He didn't need permission, he didn't need approval, and most importantly, he didn't need protection from anyone who used fear as currency. What makes this story powerful is not who fell, but who never bowed. Eminem didn't win by being louder, he won by being unmovable. He stayed consistent when silence was rewarded and honesty was punished. And now, as the industry slowly reckons with its past, those choices look less reckless and more prophetic. This moment forces everyone to reflect: who spoke up, who stayed quiet, and who benefited while others suffered. These are uncomfortable questions, but they're necessary ones, because truth has a way of resurfacing no matter how long it's buried. So as the curtain finally lifts, remember this: real power doesn't come from fear or influence, it comes from integrity, courage, and the refusal to be owned. And that's why when the pressure was highest and the risks were real, Eminem was never afraid.